I love Hollow Knight. So much so that I grinded my way through 100% in the game on Steam, as well as Silksong, and you best believe I'm playing the DLC when it comes out. So today, I'm going to be sketching out some stuff. I don't really know what I'm going to be drawing yet, but all I do know is that I'm going to be talking about Hollow Knight. But before I get into that, quick little binder review. First page, as this is basically where we started. And this is basically where I've just stuck in the other random bits. You know, like the newsletter thing, the pack art, the binder art, you know, that kind of stuff. Oh, also, for anyone unaware, I'd found the Haunted card. It was hidden behind the Butterfree for some reason. I'll stick everything that I am using below, but realistically, use anything. Have fun. You know me by now. Enjoy yourself above anything else. So with that, get your snacks, get your drinks. I'm about to yap about one of my favourite games of all time, Hollow Knight. But with that said, quick spoiler warning. If you've never played, then there will be spoilers. I'll try and keep it as vague as I can, but there definitely will be spoilers throughout this. So I think I'll just start off by drawing the knight. And so for anyone that hasn't actually played Hollow Knight, you don't play it as the Hollow Knight. Honestly, side quest, count how many times I actually say a Hollow Knight throughout this and let me know, because I generally don't know. Also, quick shout out to Team Cherry, the creators of Hollow Knight. Unbelievable goats. I don't know how 3 guys just were able to create such an absolute masterpiece. I'm telling you, they won my heart, ghosted me for 7 years, and still have it. You know, being a Metroidvania, it does incentivize a lot of backtracking, you know, exploring, finding upgrades so that you can cross gaps that you weren't able to before. You'll find an absolute metric ton of stuff that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, that you'll probably have to go run and find a moss bag videos so that you can binge watch an hour and a half worth of lore. And how can I dedicate 2 pages of a sketchbook to Hollow Knight without drawing the big man himself? So for anyone unaware, this is the Hollow Knight. And there's actually 2 versions of him, basically, and I'm going to draw both. I'm going to draw both of them. The first version you end up finding is like an infected version. Don't know. He's not as powerful as he once was, but if you're willing to put the time in, you're willing to grind, you're willing to go through all of the pantheons, you will see the pure vessel, which is honestly such a cool fight. It's not all doom and gloom though. There are happy little friends to find. You know, you've got to go around, rescue all the little grubs. Honestly, for a game about bugs, I don't really know how Team Cherry have done it. I don't know how they've got me to invest so much time and energy into a game about bugs. I mean, let's just put this into perspective. I've spent about 350 hours, just under, in this game. And I'd spent about 20 quid. It's insane value for money. Well, this is basically what I've come up with. Ultimately, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out in the end, overall. Okay, what I will do is I'll get this lined, I'll do it off camera, then I'll be right back and we'll do some colouring. Found that the sketchbook is actually magic. You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ah! Did that scare you? No, you scared me. What are you doing? Ah, that's lovely. Oh, it's going well. Me? Ah, I'm just marvelling at my Patreons. Look, I don't make the rules. This is just what peak humanity looks like. But if you are interested in Patreon, support me, what I do on the channel, interested in behind the scenes stuff and upcoming content, then I've linked it below. I upload all the art that I do on the channel every Sunday. As for the journey of drawing a Pokemon card for every single Pokemon, I did initially scan these in, but I wasn't really happy with how they turned out, so I'd gone through them all individually. So they should look identical to the ones in the binder now. I do also have ideas to do like a Patreon exclusive artwork that I want to do at least once a month. So that will be something that I can at least just post over to there. But hopefully you'll have a bit more info on that soon. Anyway, I'll shut up now. And should we see what the sketchbook looks like? Honestly, I can't lie. I'm pretty proud of how this one turned out. Arguably, I think the line work is my worst aspect, if you want me to be honest. Anyway, should we start colouring this in? You know me, I'm going to start using some alcohol markers. And yeah, let's see what we get on with. Now, colour-wise, it is definitely going to be a bit dark and dull. You know, the character you play as, the knight, so his body's basically just jet black. The only other colour really is the dark grey tendrils that kind of come out of his mask. He's got such a cool design for such a simple character, which I really love. Alright, so we're going to move on to these like dreamer statues. So for anyone that is unaware, these are the 3 dreamers that you find in the game. Basically, the aim of the game is to find these 3, which are just literally spread all over the map. So you've got to go hunting a bit. I will say the good thing about Hollow Knight is that if you kind of get lost, it does have kind of a glaring map to tell you which way to go. But yeah, basically what you're doing is you're looking for these 3 to interact with them and be able to access your way into where the final boss is. Now you might be asking why I've drawn a giant worm from Dune, and I haven't. So I just kind of wanted something that would be able to kind of link the 2 pages over. Now initially it was going to be a bit bigger, and it does have lore significance, which I'm going to spoil for you now. There are basically godlike beings that are called pale beings. The king, or the Pale King, was one of those beings, and as he came into the kingdom, he was this giant worm. Once he arrived at the kingdom, he cast off that shell and took a more smaller form, we'll say. Him being this pale being, he was able to give sentience to these bugs that were around him. So instead of being mindless animals, they became civilized, and the entire kingdom of Hallownest grew. Unfortunately, with sentience, there also became this infection. There was another being of significant importance as well. This was called the Radiants. So the Radiants began to infect the minds of these bugs. It started within their dreams, and a lot of tribes began to even worship the Radiants as opposed to the Pale King. The Pale King, kind of fearing this Radiance, he formed kind of a union with the White Lady, which was another pale being. To cut a long story short, they created a vessel to hold this infection, but it had to be a vessel that was hollow, purely hollow. So after experiment and experiment, cast off shell after cast off shell, eventually they deemed one of them perfectly hollow. The problem is, as they raised this hollow being, he grew attached to the Pale King, and as soon as that attachment formed, he was no longer hollow. So the Radiance was sealed inside of him, along with the infection. He was sealed inside of a temple. The temple had 3 seals on it, the 3 dreamers that were then put to sleep. And so that was it. The Hollow Knight was sealed. There was no way anyone could get to them, and the infection had stopped spreading. The Radiance was stuck inside of a mind that couldn't think or feel. But could it? Because when you inevitably find the Hollow Knight, the chains are broken, the infection has already spread, and all you fight is the shell of what once was. So for those of you who are brave enough to face the dreams, maybe you could go against what he truly was. Well, I'm just about finished. I got lost in the sauce there a bit. Sorry about that. But I'm back. Just let me go finish up these details, and I'll be back in 1 second. There you go. See, I told you that was quick. Don't have to wait that long. There we are. Honestly, I'll be honest, it's probably one of my favourite things I've drawn today. Honestly, just being able to draw again and talk about the things I love, I feel like a kid again. And I feel like I'm falling in love with art again. But honestly, once again, thank you for the support. You know, if you're there sitting thinking, should you do that thing that you're struggling to, I believe in you. Do it. Please do it. The world deserves more of you. The one thing I will say is I have no idea how to end these videos anymore. So,